Hey, it's me, Ernest. Do you mind if I put some jazz in the background? I really love this kind of music. Speaking of which, do you like achievements? I mean, of course you do. There's no one would dislike these. Okay, I get to the point. Recently, I finished Legacy of Lunge Kingdom in Legacy mode with the normal difficulty. And let's say that it was quite an achievement for me at least, because it was pretty difficult to beat Clownpiece and Junko. Really, I was joyful and that made my day and... Whoa, wait a second. What did I just spout? Difficulty. Pretty difficult. Difficulty? What is it? I mean, of course, saying it that way seems weird and even stupid, but I've seen a lot of posts saying that, for example, LOL-K is difficult, while 10 Desires or Imperishable Night are way easier. But thinking about it now, what is difficulty? I don't mean why is that game harder compared to others, but what makes it harder? How can some games seem harder to others when they are easier for you? To summarize all of this into a sentence, what factors do you need to take into account to calculate difficulty? Well, I guess we're off to start a confusing discussion. Just so you know, I'm going to use Touhou as a main example, mainly because I want to talk about it in this video, but you can apply most of what I say to other video games. Anyway, let's start it. If we want to talk about difficulty, we need to determine what type of game we are playing. For Touhou games, it's really easy. It is a shoot 'em up. Or if you want to be accurate, it falls under the category of bullet hell. Do you have any other obvious remarks, Ernest? Maybe we can learn from your wisdom. I know this might seem like an obvious point, but once again, stop to think about it. How much videos or posts have you seen where people are comparing two games that aren't from the same genre? You know, for example, there's videos that try to see if Undertale is superior to Touhou, or vice versa. Yeah, this might seem like an evidence to a lot of people, but I'm pointing it out to make it clear that this is a factor that we need to take into consideration on our wheel. Which wheel, you say? This one! There are 5 slots on it, so I guess you know how much factors we need to discover in order to get what difficulty is. Anyway, guess we'll move on to factor number 2. And this is the one that people often find out to be the easiest to distinguish. The challenge that the game offers. Here it is, the density of bullets on the screen. This factor is of course the easiest to get. It doesn't take a brainy head to figure out how much bullets are on the screen. I mean, if you compare LOL-K and TD, there's no question as to which seems the hardest in terms of bullet spam. But what if we take a game like Ikusan? Quick explanation, what is Ikusan? Is it a game? Well, yes, it is. Is it a shooter belonging to the bullet hell genre? Yes, of course. Does it contain Iku? Oh, you bet it does. I love Ikusan, not only because it contains the best character in Touhou, but also because it allows me to talk about another aspect of difficulty that a lot of people don't seem to catch sight of. If you take a glimpse at Ikusan, you might think it is a game akin to LOL-K with a lot of bullets onto the screen and not a lot of time to react. And you would be entirely right. However, Ikusan often feel easier to people because of another side of the difficulty wheel, game-specific mechanics. I know, I'm talking about them once more. In Ikusan, you have on top of the normal P or fairy shooter and your bomb, which can be spammed more easily in this game, it's more like a powerful attack, you have a special mechanic called Fever. Who knew that a good 39 degrees Celsius could give you superpowers, huh? The point of Fever is not only to make the game more enjoyable, maybe I'll talk about it in another video, but also to make the game possible. If the mechanic didn't exist, the game would be way harder if not impossible to complete. Let me explain how Fever works in this game. By pressing the C key, you enter Fever mode, a state in which you cannot be hurt by anything and you absorb bullets. However, the game makes this resource limited by adding in a timer, counting down how much seconds you can use this Fever, and this counter only recharges when you let go of the C key. Against bosses, you have a limited amount of time, but In stages, you can increase set time by picking up heavenly peaches in order to make the fever last longer, allowing you to erase more and more bullets as the stage goes on. This is very important since stages become increasingly harder and forces you to rely more and more on this mechanic to win. This tool is what makes victory possible. However, there are no such tools in LoL, which is often why people say that this game is hard. Give something to a player, like the releases of Touhou, Eden Star and Four Seasons, and he will try to abuse it. Give nothing to him while making the game too hard, and he won't even try. Make it inherent to the core gameplay, and this mechanic, well, no pun intended, becomes a tool to progress through the game, whether it's at the player pace or not. Now, this is all well and good, but that makes only 3 out of 5 slots filled. What are the other 2? Well, this is where it gets complicated, you see. Whereas the 3 previous points were completely objective, the last 2 are, unfortunately, coming from a subjective standpoint. This is why difficulty is so hard to pinpoint. It isn't just a matter of what the game throws at you. It also is a matter of who's playing it. Which leads us to a 4th point, the player's skill. And now we're talking. If you give any of the game I just talked about above to a newcomer to shoot 'em up games, whether you have a broken mechanic or not and how many bullets on the screen won't matter. This person will die multiple times. Maybe he continues, and that will be the case, even in a game like Touhou Frantically Forbidden Fruit, where the game's specific mechanic, the juice bottle, gives an advantage to newer players by buffing them for short amounts of time. You know the joke, right? Once the player asked for harder Touhou game, and Zun responded, "Lol, okay." Well, maybe not all the players asked for that. If only we could give them a choice on how they want to play. Step 5. The player's choice. Yes, I said it. Difficulty is also a part of the player's choice. It might seem logical as every game since the first proposed an easy, normal, hard and lunatic difficulty, but outside of that there's no other game would try to remove its own mechanic. Let's get back to Frantically Forbidden Fruit, shall we? In this game you have the choice between 2 game modes, a la LoL-K. However, in LoL-K, this was just a matter of saving progress or not. It didn't make the game easier per se. The first mode, the Paradise mode, grants you the Juice Bottle, a tool that you can see like the releases from Touhou, Eden Star and Four Seasons. However, the Juice Bottle will give you buffs depending on the type of juice that you make from fallen fruits, allowing you to have 3 at a time. The mechanic is already pretty beginner friendly, but the game in normal mode isn't as hard as a normal Touhou game. With a bit of practice, it's a very good introduction to the series. However, if you want to crank up the level a bit, you can choose the Legacy mode, where you play by the rules of double dealing character, with no special mechanic, just you against the challenge. Once more, however, since dodging bullets isn't as challenging in this game, the Legacy mode feels more like a normal Touhou game, and even a bit fairer. You could see that as a casual mode and a normal mode. And for me, this is how difficulty should be balanced, giving the choice to the player, no matter their skill level, to experience a true challenge in a bullet hell game, without having to forcefully rely on a special mechanic or even luck to win. So give this game a try, I think you'll like it, and tell me what you think about what I've just said. I'd like to have your opinion as well, because after all, the watcher's opinion counts as much as mine. Last thing though, don't be that guy. I've seen plenty of people bash others because they were playing on easier difficulty. Don't do that. Difficulty is a bit like a comfort zone. Don't try to remove other players from theirs. Anyway, on that note, I wish you all a wonderful day or night depending on where you live, and I hope I'll see you next time on the next video. Adios!